All right, let's talk about one of the most incredible animals on the planet, the bear. Now, you probably think you know them pretty well, right? Big, furry, powerful. But I promise you, there is so much more going on than meets the eye. You're about to see them in a completely new light. So let's start with a basic question. What really makes a bear a bear? I mean, beyond the obvious stuff, the claws, the fur, the sheer size, there's this whole hidden world of complexity and surprise just waiting to be uncovered. And just to give you a little taste of what I'm talking about, here's a quick preview. We're going to find out why some bear fur is actually transparent. Yes, transparent. We'll explore a sense of smell that is a legitimate superpower. And we'll see why they might be one of the smartest animals you'll ever come across. You're going to want to stick around for this. But first things first, before we get into all the crazy abilities, we need to know who we're actually talking about. So let's get the lay of the land and meet the whole bear family.
So, how many types of bears do you think are out there today? Take a guess.
Well, believe it or not, scientists currently recognize just 8 distinct species on the entire planet. Only 8. And each one is totally unique. And here's the lineup. You've got the big names, of course, the brown bear and the polar bear. You have the American and Asiatic black bears, the unmistakable giant panda. And then you get into some of their lesser-known cousins, the sloth bear, the spectacled bear, and the sun bear. It's a really diverse bunch. And this family is incredibly widespread. Seriously, they've managed to set up shop everywhere, from scorching hot tropical forests to the absolute coldest parts of the Arctic. That kind of adaptability is just mind-blowing. Okay, so now that we've been properly introduced, let's get to the really cool part. What makes them so formidable? We're talking about abilities that are nothing short of actual superpowers. Let's start with this number, 2,000 times. What do you think that is? Well, that is how much more powerful a bear's sense of smell is compared to ours. It's a scale that is almost impossible for us to even imagine. We're not just talking about sniffing out a nearby garbage can. This is a nose that can pick up a scent from miles and miles away. It's their #1 tool for finding food, sensing danger, and even finding a mate. It's how they see the world. And what about speed? We tend to picture them as big and slow, kind of lumbering around. Wrong. A bear can hit a top speed of 50 kilometers per hour. That's about 30 miles per hour. That is ridiculously fast for such a massive animal. And hey, to really put that into perspective for you, over a short distance, a bear can actually outrun a racehorse. Let that sink in for a second. It completely blows that myth of the slow, clumsy bear right out of the water. Now, all that power and all that speed requires a massive amount of fuel, right? Especially if you've got to survive a long, cold winter. So let's take a look at how they power themselves up. And their diets are just as diverse as the bears themselves. On one end of the spectrum, you have the brown bear. It's basically an eating machine, putting away up to 40 kilograms. That's a whopping 88 pounds of food every single day before winter. Then, on the complete other end, you have the giant panda, the ultimate specialist. It eats pretty much nothing but bamboo. We're talking 99% of its diet. 2 totally different playbooks for survival. So all that eating is to get ready for the big winter sleep, right? Hibernation. But here's the thing. Is that story actually true for every single bear out there? Well, it turns out that's a pretty common myth. That deep, true hibernation we always hear about, it's not a universal bear thing. Some species, like the polar bear, don't do it. Instead, they go into a state that's more like a light sleep, where their body temperature doesn't drop as much. This lets them wake up much more quickly if they need to. So we've covered their skills, we've covered their survival tricks, but some of the most amazing facts about bears are hidden in their biology, stuff you just can't see at first glance. Okay, so I've got a question for you, and it sounds really simple. What color is a polar bear's fur? The obvious answer is white. Of course it is, right? Nope, it's a total trick question. A polar bear's fur isn't white at all. Get this. Each individual hair is actually a clear, hollow tube. It only looks white because those hollow shafts scatter light, kind of the same way snow does. And underneath all that see-through fur, their skin is pitch black, all the better to soak up the sun's heat. Isn't that wild? Here is another number that's just going to blow you away. 300 to 500 grams. That is the average weight of a newborn bear cub. Yeah, you heard me right. These tiny, helpless little cubs, born to mothers that can weigh hundreds of kilos, start out life weighing less than a bottle of water. The transformation from that tiny size to a full-grown adult is just one of the most incredible journeys in the entire animal kingdom.
Okay, so we've seen their power, their survival skills, their amazing biology. But let's finish up with what might just be their most impressive trait of all: their intelligence.
And we're not just talking about basic instinct here. Bears have shown incredible problem-solving skills. They can figure out how to open doors, they can recognize patterns. Their long-term memory is so good they can remember where a great food source is for years. They've even been spotted using tools, like rocks, to get at food. This is a seriously smart animal. So it's clear bears aren't just powerful animals. They're adaptable, they're biologically fascinating, and they are deeply intelligent. Knowing all of that, how does it change the way we see them? And maybe more importantly, how does it change how we think about sharing this planet with them? That's definitely something to think about.